All right, guys, welcome back to it.
Welcome, Willie Beat Boops. This is another one of our music discussions, that little series that we've been doing while the show's not running.
Yeah, we're bored.
If all goes well, we'll continue them
Yeah.
during the season. So I actually like doing these. So.
Speaking of season 3 coming up.
Season
February.
3, probably. Still don't know.
Season 3 is a definite.
Facebook page down in the description. Like that, and you'll get a lot more notifications as to when things are happening.
Cool Photoshop pictures.
Cool things that I photoshopped in like 20 minutes for like the fun shows, I guess you could say, like the ones that have like a theme or something. I don't know. I want to start doing that more because it's interesting. It's funny.
And if you haven't seen them yet, check out our past videos. We did a little Knuckle Puck.
Circus Vive.
Growing In by I Can Make a Mess.
We did some fun little vinyl ones of me and Jimmy's top 5 favorite vinyls with like a bunch of honorable mentions. Jimmy had like a lot of really cool ones.
I did have
a lot of mine were just like old ones, so they're like not like old, like 90s, 80s kind of stuff, like Nine Inch Nails.
Vinyl has become my medium of buying music.
He has a lot more than I do. Or maybe we have about the same.
We have about the same.
He has more cool ones.
I do have more cool ones.
I'll say that. So yeah, this week we're talking about
Aaron West.
Yeah,
Roaring Twenties.
Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties.
His first debut album as Aaron West. We Don't Have Each Other. I say as Aaron West because you may know him as Soupy Campbell, lead singer of the Wonder Years. Hey, look at that.
Whenever possible, we have the flag of the band we're talking about in the background.
It's always nice.
Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we don't have those flags. Circus Survive does not have a flag, otherwise I would own it. Circus Survive, if you watch this, Anthony Green, Colin, Brendan, Steve, who am I forgetting? Nick. They all have really average names, I'm sorry. If you guys are watching this, love you guys. Make me a flag.
I think
big ass safe camp flag.
I think it's I think there's a DeSensis flag. It's just the artwork for DeSensis.
I don't know.
All right, we'll look into this.
If it exists,
we're gonna buy it.
It's mine now. Also, patches, because I'm a patch whore. All right, getting off that.
So yeah, this album
right there,
signed by Mr. Aaron West. Pretty cool. He stays in character for his shows.
Yeah.
We met him. He was selling his own merch.
I guess I didn't really expect it. Like, it was kind of like I was made aware that he was going to tell stories as Aaron West, but he stayed in character like the whole time. And it was really cool. It's like a whole different person, and I kind of like that he's able to pull that off. That's something. Even something as simple as signing as Aaron West.
Yeah, signing as Aaron West. But when he was asked questions like, "Hey Soupy," he responded. He wasn't like a dick about it.
Yeah.
Like, "Hey Soupy," it was awesome when he worked with Let Live. He did Dope Beat.
We did talk to him about that.
And he said it was awesome knowing those guys. But when we mentioned his Wonder Years projects, he didn't ignore it. He was awesome about it. He is one of my music heroes. I did get to shake his hand. You got to touch his beard.
I did. He said I could graze it, so I kind of went like did one of those, just like graze him on. It
was consensual.
He let me. I don't know if you can really tell, but he's got a really sweet beard.
It is a nice beard.
It's quite large, and it's kept well.
It is well kept.
And I, for one, cannot grow a beard for shit. So.
Mine is very it's not much of a beard. But this album was released mid-2014. He worked with Ace Enders on it. It was the album that was being produced when Ace wrote his Growing In album.
Which I think we might have talked about.
We did talk about a little bit. A little teensy.
Which you should also listen. You should watch that if you haven't already.
Yeah, check out.
That one, I think it's one of the more discussion, like one of the better discussions that we were able to have so far.
But, I mean, we saw him with Ace and Anthony at Starland. We've talked about that show a lot, where we were VIPs.
Yeah.
It was just a little badge, and we spent $40 instead of $20.
Got to meet Anthony Green for, like, the 5th time?
One of those numbers.
I've seen him 11 times now.
But the advantage of being VIPs at that show was that we were the first ones in the building, so we got to stand pretty close to the rail for Soupy or Aaron West's performance.
Oh yeah, we were like dead center too. So like
dead center, he was right in front of
5
us,
feet from us. It was
towering over
great,
us a little bit.
great.
He's a short guy too, so for him to tower is impressive.
Ace is a bit taller than I expected.
Ace is a large man. I think he's like 6'2".
Yeah, like I always like thought he'd be about like my size because he's got like about like the same like stature as me. I guess he's
lanky.
He's like kind of lanky, but like he's like in the same ways that I am, but he's just a larger version of like my like I guess build.
Yeah,
and I was just like, oh.
He's a little broad across the shoulders too.
Yeah.
Very large hands. I'm shaking his hand a couple times. But like we said during the show,
we were talking about people's beards and like
hands and body parts.
Stop this.
I do want to just go on the record. I find all three of the men that we have mentioned in this video, Anthony Green, Ace Enders, and Dan Soupy Campbell, they are very attractive men, and I'm comfortable enough with my sexuality to say these things. Lisa, I love you. Anyway, we talked about how he stays in character, and he flows through the story. He played most of the songs on the album. I do still have to cheat, I'm sorry. But he opened with Our Apartment, into Grapefruit, into St. Joe Keeps Us Safe. But in between each song, he was telling the story that isn't told on the album. So, talking to his mom, who's a Roman Catholic, which may or may not be true, because we don't know what parts of his actual life he used for his Aaron West life.
I mean, he says like he grew up in like Long Island,
and he's from Philly.
And then like he like says like all like these things, but he says them like with like such like determination that like he like it's almost as if like you get like really caught up in it, and like you're like you feel like Aaron West is like you feel like that's him, like that's him on stage.
It wasn't Soupy performing; it was Aaron West performing, and that's what he wanted us to feel. At least I think that's what he wanted us to feel. Why he chose an alias, I don't know. Maybe it was to just tell a different story. He had the story that he wanted to tell. That is not something that I've learned yet or read up on. But it is amazing the way he does it, and I was wary on it at first, but the first time I had seen him perform as Aaron West was a vintage vinyl recording. Which
is one of the first places I saw Circus Survive.
Yeah, vintage vinyl in Jersey, where we get all of our indie vinyl.
Second time I saw Circus. The first time I saw them, I was actually kind of into them. First time I saw them was at Bamboozle when I was like in middle school or something like that. And it was just like, hey, let's go check out this band, Circus Survive. I kind of know them, and I was like, all right, cool, I'll go watch them. There's no one I really want to see on right now. And I was into it. Fat Dude fell on me, though.
Fat Dude fell on me.
Was not into that.
Fat Dude.
And I was also very small. I didn't hit like I may have been like 100 pounds.
Fat Kid knows?
Dude, Fat Kid did not know that I was
there.
Fat
Kid did not know that you were there.
Did not know that I was there.
But back to Aaron West. There's a YouTube video of his first real performance as Aaron West. And he's telling the story, and people who didn't know that he was Soupy Campbell believed that he was Aaron West. If I didn't know of the Wonder Years and I wasn't a fan of his and I didn't know what his face looked like and his voice sounded like, I would have believed that he was Aaron West.
Oh yeah, like there were people at that show that were just like, who is this guy, Aaron West? And I was just like, oh, they don't even know. Granted, I didn't really know until recently. When this music was shown to me, it's like, yeah, it's the dude from Wonder Years, Soupy Campbell. I'm like, oh, I know about that guy. I don't really know much of what he does, but I know about that guy.
Yeah. There was one part,
but I did love this album.
There was one part of the concert where it was right before he started playing the song Runnin' Scared. He is telling the story about how him and his wife had just got divorced, and he had to tell his mom about it. In that moment, he went through with his mom, and his mom's response being, just take your dad's Mustang and drive. And the way he tells the story, he says it with a half smirk on his face, and it seems like he almost wants to cry. And you hear it in his voice that it seems like he's choking up.
It's just like
he says things with such conviction, and he forces you to believe him.
It's like, and the emotion is like spot on to like how it should be.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like you're caught up in it, he's caught up in it, everybody's caught up in it, and you're just like, this is just it's really impressive.
To get into a little bit of the concept, Aaron West is a struggling divorcee, recent divorcee, who's struggling with the way he handled everything. He opens with our apartment, and it's, I want life to go back to the way things were. I can't imagine them any other way. I can't even sleep in. He refers to the bed in his home as our bed.
And like he says, like I can't sleep in this bed alone. He says I've been sleeping on the couch because I can't stand our bed without you.
Right.
That's some shit right there.
And it's very common in divorces. I know my dad personally slept on a couch for years, even after the divorce was final and he had his own bed. He still slept on a couch. And it is an emotional attachment that you have to a queen size bed or a king size bed, whatever it may be, that you are used to sleeping in that bed with another person. And to get that so spot on as somebody, I don't think he's ever been married. I don't think he's been through a divorce. He's actually still fairly young.
I mean, he may have seen it when he was a kid. Maybe his parents got divorced. I don't know that, but me and Jimmy are both children of divorce, so we understand that little thing. So I don't know if it's his experience with it, or he knew somebody, or he was a kid during that time.
Mm-hmm.
That he would understand that, but he gets it so perfectly. Everything that he does, it's almost as if he actually fucking lived this story.
It gets even darker going into Grapefruit, and Divorce in the American South is when he flat out says the reason for the divorce of Aaron West and Diane. He gave the wife a name, Diane. And the lyric is, but when we lost the baby, I kind of shut off. The divorce was due to a miscarriage. And the way he reacted to the miscarriage was not the way that a human being should have reacted, at least to what he thinks the reaction should have been. I have never been through such a thing. Dave has never been through such a thing, so we don't know what the reaction.
No, I haven't.
No.
That's but it's heavy shit. The whole album, it's he's saying all this really heavy shit, and it's he's saying in a tone this is what I fucking did. I lived through this. But it's it's just so spot on. All the emotion is just correct. I know I'm repeating myself, but it's just
it's amazing to think that it is not a real person. He has made up this story in some way, shape, or form. Whether it is a real story of somebody in his life, or it's a story that he made up, he portrays this character beautifully, and all the way through the album to the very end, with Carolina Coast, and there is a bonus track at the end, but all the way through to Carolina Coast, it's him running away from his problems. It starts with Running Scared, where he starts driving south, and one of the lyrics in Driving South
that's when in the show you're talking about how his mom said, take your dad's Mustang and just drive. And that's when he went right into just right there into Running Scared. And
Running Scared is such an emotional roller coaster of a song, because when he first started playing it, I honestly thought he was playing Ballroom Blitz.
It's it's so upbeat and it sounds happy, but then you listen to the lyrics and you're like, oh, this is really depressing.
And man, I'm not saying that I miss home, but I keep seeing your face in the northbound traffic.
Yeah,
it's
that kind of.
I'm getting chills now thinking about it.
It's so because you're saying it's a lot like most Wonder Years songs, where it's all Wonder Years songs are really depressing to read, but listening.
These are really depressing to hear,
and all these are they're just straight up depressing. But it's it's good music, and it's just it tells a really heavy story, and if you're into that, it's this is a great album.
I got super hyped on this album early in the year because I heard that none other than Mr. Arthur Enders, otherwise known as Ace, would be producing it. And
Ace Enders says it right here, produced by Arthur Ace Enders.
Yep.
Didn't know that was his first name
I did.
Quite some time. I just remembered it right now. I forget that's his real name. I heard it once before, I think.
He is actually a Roaring 20. So Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties. The Roaring Twenties are actually his band, and he's got a little brass section.
There's like 3 guys on
a
brass.
trombone, a trumpet, and a saxophone. And Anthony Green. Ace Enders has banjo. He's got his guitarist and a bassist.
I forgot what he was also doing that little.
It's like a sitar sort of deal. Right?
I forget what they're called, but it's like on the
slide.
table and it's like the slide, and I don't know what it's called.
It's very prominent in the album too. It plays a huge part in setting the tone of the album because it's a very somber sound. I feel like we've talked way too much about the emotion of this album. Let's just get into our favorite songs. I think both of us agree that Runnin' Scared is the best song on the album.
I love it. It's great.
But because we agreed on that, we wanted to have something else to talk about. Dave picked the second. I picked the second.
And then we both kind of like agreed on like a third as well. So I was saying Runnin' Scared, Our Apartment, and Divorce in the American South were like, I was like, those ones really stuck out for me.
And Runnin' Scared for me as well. Grapefruit was so powerful. He actually has one of his merch items was a shirt with just a grapefruit on it that said Aaron West at the bottom. I thought that was awesome. And of course, Divorce in the American South, which is the reason why it wasn't towards my favorite up until we heard him live. And when a singer stops singing and stands to the side of the mic and you hear the entire crowd in unison singing a chorus that is as powerful as that one, it stays with you for a very long time, and I think I will hold that moment with me probably
just
for the rest of my life.
Yeah, like any time that I've seen a band and the singer just walks away from the mic and is just shouting out into the crowd like these lyrics, and if anyone's just responding back to them, it's like every time like a singer talks about it, they're always like, it's like a really great feeling. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it in the way where it's just like this one band that me and June both like and have seen twice.
All Get Out.
Or I've seen twice, you've seen once.
All Get Out. I know exactly
they have
where
the
you're going with
song,
this. Don't Let Me Go.
Don't Let Me Go. And there's one part where it's just him, just vocals. It's like all a cappella. And
it's most of the song, actually. It's not until the last, it's a 6-minute song, not until the last 2 minutes on the recording does he even play any instruments.
There's one part, though, that when he's playing it live, he just gets away from the mic and he's just singing it into the crowd, no mic. And the 2 times that I've seen it, it's just been dead silence and him just singing this. And it's just like, it's really crazy. It's like kind of creepy almost. It's just like, what the fuck? And like a lot of people are like, what's going on? It's like, dude, art is going on.
it was a very, I guess cathartic would be a good word, a very cathartic moment. And hearing Nate Hussey's voice live is always a great one.
Really cool dude too. We talked to him for like half an hour or something like that.
He just really had to pee.
Yeah, he did. We talked to him for a while though. But did not know that we were keeping him from peeing. Just at one point he's like, "Yeah, I gotta pee." And we're like, "Oh yeah."
I think we have 2 separate ratings for this one.
Yeah, I'm giving this one a beard out of 10. Because goddamn, Soupy Campbell's beard.
For me, I'm giving it a single tear out of 10. It gets a single tear, just one little tear.
Just that one, just like where just something really hits you, and you're just like, man, and you just like you don't want to cry, but it just happens.
It gets ever so slightly misty.
Yeah.
That
almost happened to me this talk right now.
Yeah.
Definitely, because this album definitely evokes some shit.
It does. It digs up some feelings from somewhere.
Buried down deep that you just don't want to. It's that forever empty that you just got to keep distracting yourself from.
Yeah, that's why people text and drive. If you don't know what we're referencing, check out Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. Forever Empty. You'll find it.
Yep. But this album here,
it's fantastic.
Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties. We Don't Have Each Other. Check it out if you haven't. If you have Spotify, it's on Spotify. It's on iTunes. You can buy the CDs. Vinyl's out of print as of the time of this recording. That's why I don't own a vinyl. Otherwise, I would.
Indie cred.
Yeah. But seriously, check it out. If you are the crying type, bring a box of tissues. If you're not the crying type, bring a fucking box of tissues.
Yeah, you might need it. So yeah, I guess just, Facebook page is down in the description. Check that out. Subscribe to the YouTube channel thing that I got going on. I'm being hugged.
I felt it was necessary.